Dear friends, I am in San Antonio, Texas. I came here at the invitation of Pastor John Hagee, who has a tremendous following, not only in Texas, not only in San Antonio, a following throughout the world. But there is a saying in Hebrew, Eina doma re'iyah leshemiah. It's not the same thing to hear about something or to see it and not to hear about it. When you are here and you see the response of the people, you get an altogether different idea of what you thought you were going to see when you came to the place. I heard about a night in honor of Israel. And I said to myself, where does a Protestant pastor come to promote something like that? That should be a Jewish idea. But I learned it's different. When I came here last night, I expected something important. But what I saw was moving, enthusiasm, the reaction of the people in the church to the words of the pastor, to the words of the ambassador, to the words of all the people who were invited to participate. It is a great privilege to have this conversation with you. I want to start asking you, how does one go about building a mega church? How do you build 25,000 congregants? How do you do that?
The building of a mega church is not because of its location or architectural beauty. It's what you do for the people when they come to the church. Every person that comes through the doors of my church or any other church has a need, and it is the responsibility of the church not to just talk about the need, but to meet the need. People come through with emotional needs, financial needs, physical needs, marital needs, and it's the responsibility of the church to demonstrate the love of God by helping solve their problem every time they have a problem.
Well, I think the fact that people come back means that you have responded to some of their needs. Pastor, you know, in our tradition, the Jewish tradition, you have to believe in God. I imagine every religious tradition requires that. But it is not enough for us to believe. You have to translate the belief into action, into doing things. There's a word called mitzvah. Mitzvah means a good deed. You know, when you do things, you become different by doing. You're not only helping the family. I think you're helping the members of your church who help others. They become other individuals through it. But I want to speak about last night a little bit. Not only that I was impressed. Where do you, John Hagee, come to do a night in honor of Israel? What is your business with Israel? Where do you come to the state of Israel? What does the Jewish people mean to you? Why do you do something for the state of... I don't see anybody in the Jewish community doing something like that. Why are you doing that?
I got involved with Israel by virtue of the fact that I went to Israel for the first time in 1978. I was 38 years of age. And while I was there praying at the Western Wall, I looked over my shoulder and there was a Jewish man sitting in a chair, rocking back and forth, kissing the Torah. And he had tears on his cheeks, and I was moved by how devoted he was to the worship of the Lord. And I felt the Lord just say to me, that man is your spiritual brother. You don't know a thing about him, and he's terrified of you. So I went back to the wall and started praying, and I looked again and saw him. And I felt like that the Lord was saying to me, do what you can to bring Christians and Jews together in an environment that's non-threatening, but will demonstrate that you are spiritually the seed of Abraham and that you have much in common, far more than you've allowed to separate you. So I left the wall, and my wife and I went to the Harp of David. I bought $300 or $400 worth of books that described the history of Israel and the Jewish people through the Crusades, through the Spanish Inquisition, through the Holocaust, the theology of John Chrysostom, the Golden Throat, that labeled the Jewish people the killers of Christ. And I began to see history, because I was not taught this in seminary, I can tell you that. And I came home and had all of this information, And one night I'm watching the television, and this is 3 years later, and Israel bombed the nuclear reactor in Iraq. And the media was going after Israel tooth and tongue. And I said to my wife, this is a wonderful opportunity to demonstrate to the Jewish people our appreciation of what they've done. I said, they've taken nuclear power out of the hand of a madman. I said, we're going to have a night to honor Israel. I'm going to take our choir and our orchestra downtown. We're going to invite everybody in the city. We're going to put it on television. We're going to send it to the ends of the earth so this can be done in other places. So I went to the Jewish community, and they weren't so keen about it. They did not want to do it. And they had 4 committee meetings, and the last one lasted late into the night. And the Orthodox rabbi said to the Jewish leaders who were there, said, look, said, as Jews we know how to handle our enemies, but what if this man is a friend? And it was a brand new idea. I told them, I'll give you a written document of everything I'm going to say from hello to good night. My speech, all the words to all the songs. I promise you there's nothing that's going to be offensive to you. This is a tribute to Israel. And I intended to do it one time. So we had a press conference, and as soon as the newspapers hit the press, death threats started coming to my church. Tell the preacher we're going to shoot him by Friday. He will never live to see that first night to honor Israel. Some of my church members were very concerned. I said, we're going to do this. Come hell or high water, we're going to do it. It's the right thing to do. So we went to the theater. It was packed, and we had a wonderful night. And as the Rabbi Scheinberg, was giving the benediction, the security came to me and said, there's a bomb threat on this building. It's supposed to blow up in 3 minutes. I said, wow. And I prayed a prayer myself. I said, dear Lord, don't let the rabbi pray like Moses right now. Let him pray like a Presbyterian late for lunch. God answered my prayer. And I walked up to the podium. I said, I hate to end this night on a negative note, but there's a bomb threat on this building, and it's supposed to blow up in the next 2 or 3 minutes. The Christians ran out of that building like their shirts were on fire. The Jewish people just flipped their hands at me and kept on talking as if I would have said, kosher hot dogs are available in the lobby for those of you who'd like to stay another hour. And it dawned on me they were accustomed to being threatened, and the Christians were having a novel experience. So we walked off the stage, my wife and I, with the Consul General of Israel, and I said, if these anti-Semitic rednecks think they can shut us down by threats, we're going to have a night to honor Israel until they get used to it. So it got bigger, and it got bigger, and we put it on television, and it started spreading to other cities. And then in 2006, we started Christians United for Israel. Now, nights to honor Israel are conducted in every major city in America every year, and 5,000 Christians go every July to Washington, D.C. to stand up and speak up for Israel and the Jewish people.
Well, admiration is too small a word to reply to what you've just said.